Good morning. It's Monday. It's a start of a new week. So I'm wishing you a great week. And before we start, let me just put us on my phone so I can see who's here and who's not here, because I don't seem to be able to read through StreamYard the messages. So good morning, Sherry. So today we are talking about 5 ways or 5 what I think are major steps to start motivating yourself. Because we all have dreams, and I am a transformational coach, and I help people create the life that they want, living on their terms. So that is a really big sort of general statement. And the question is, yeah, that sounds great. I want to live life on my terms, but I just don't know how to even start. So let's just wait for people to sign in. So good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Nick. Hi, Renee, all the way from Australia. This is wonderful. Let me know what this week is going to be for you. And this is, one of the things that people just haven't sat and spent a little bit of time thinking about. What is it that I want to achieve this week? So we're going to talk about motivation today, so that it can help you to create the life that you want, living life on your terms. Good morning, Alison. Lovely to see you here. So one of the key things about motivation that you need to understand is that we get motivated by internal things. In other words, the things that we love, the things that we create, the things that we are passionate. And we also get motivated by external things, like we have to pay the mortgage, buy food. We want to go on a holiday. We want to pay for our children's education. So those are external motivational things that happen in our lives, but then there's also the internal. Now, because most people are not clear about what they're passionate about, where their skills and where their talents can show up, they look outside themselves and go, what is it that I have to do in order to survive, in order to pay my mortgage and my electricity, my utilities and all that? So when we are focusing on anything that I can do to be able to fulfill my outside motivations, it's so easy to fall track to taking the easiest way out, which means that we might be in a job that we don't love, or we might be doing the kind of service for others, if you have your own business, that it's not really what you are passionate about. And therefore, that kind of motivation, which is from the outside, can start to feel like a grind, because that motivation involves obligation. It involves a lot of compromising. So I'm not suggesting that there's no compromise in life, but when your motivation to do the things, to bring the money in, because at the end of the day, that's what we all need, is an abundance and money and prosperity that gives us the freedom to live life on our terms. So when our motivation is external, it involves a lot of obligation, and it involves a lot of compromising on ourselves. So we might want to do something, but we compromise by doing something else, which is not what we want, or something that we enjoy, or something that makes us excited. We get out of bed because, I have to go to work, rather than I'm so excited to do what I have to do today. So internal motivation is all about what you love. And, a lot of people say, well, what I would love is to do X, but I don't know what to do to go about it. Or I know what, and maybe the what is changing jobs, or maybe the what is about starting your own business, but I really don't know how to go about it. And then, of course, all those wonderful little limiting beliefs start to kick in, like, you don't have the right qualifications, you don't have the right experience, you don't have the right knowledge. It's going to be too risky. You might land up having less money, and that's going to make it even harder. So, just stick to what you know, stick to what is working, and, do the practical steps. So before I carry on with the next motivation, if you have any thoughts about that particular one, about doing what you love, which is coming from the inside, and therefore it's an internal motivation, and you're compromising, you're working out of obligations, if this resonates with you, just give me a thumbs up, or a yes, or something, so I know, while I say good morning to the rest. Good morning, Anastasios. Good morning, Anita. Good morning, Jason. So lovely to see you all here as we talk about motivation. Now, the second thing, or my second tip about motivation, is all about the outside world, which is the practical steps that we're taking, and the inside world, which is all about our thoughts, our beliefs, and our values. So one of the way that we can know what truly motivates us and excites us, what we're really passionate about, and therefore, getting up and doing that would be effortless. And I don't know if you've heard that if you do what you love, you'll never work another day in your life. So that sounds like a lovely cliche, and we all do thumbs up. But what does that really mean? It means that if you're working from that inside space, from your values, then the things that you do are absolutely effortless. One of the things that I always teach in my development groups is that we need to be doing what we are passionate about. Because when we do something that we're passionate about, we become natural experts, because we don't need someone to say, go read this book, go and do this workshop, go and write this post, go and watch this webinar. Nobody needs to tell you to do that. You just naturally go in and gather more and more and more information because it's what you love. For instance, I started on understanding and wanting to understand about personal development, spirituality, all that kind of stuff when I was about 15. So the motivation that I had then, which it took me years to really understand it, because I didn't have anybody to guide me, and there was no internet and Wi-Fi and all of that kind of stuff, so I could just go to YouTube and Google and just source information. I mean, we're so fortunate today. So I was about 15 years old. My parents got divorced, and it felt like my whole world turned upside down. And I wanted to make sense out of all the nonsense in my life. And, the biggest question that I had, which I didn't understand at the time, is I was asking God, the universe, life, why is this happening to me? I kind of saw myself, I'm a kind person, I'm a loving person, I'm respectful, I honor people. So therefore, I don't deserve this kind of life. So why is this happening to me? And, I didn't realize at the time that this was putting me in a victim place. But it also started this journey for me. Now, this journey really, really stepped up a hell of a lot when I was about 23 years old, coming back from a broken marriage. It was an absolute disaster. And the question that I had about myself then was, what is it about me, about my programming, about my beliefs that made me make the decisions that I'm making? Because I didn't like the outcomes. And I didn't understand what motivated me to make those kind of decisions. So that's when I really went deep into personal development. I didn't realize it at the time, the passion that I had about living life on your terms. I just wanted relief. But that started that journey where I was in those days buying books and trying to find workshops and working with coaches, working with therapists, and then becoming one. I mean, in the beginning, I was doing it all for free because I had another day job and I was doing this for free because it was just something that was natural to me. But at that stage, I still hadn't acknowledged what I'm passionate about. And the biggest thing that I'm passionate about, other than creating a life, living life on your terms, was about educating people and teaching people so that they too could be free out of all these constraints and these silly belief systems and everything. But it still hadn't taken shape and form. So about 30 years later, here we are. Nobody has had to tell me, read this book. I mean, some people recommend books, but nobody has said, go read this book, go and watch this webinar, go and do this seminar, go and do another seminar, go and do another workshop. Nobody had to motivate me. This was stuff that I was so passionate about that I just naturally flowed into it. And that's how I realized that this is my passion. This is the stuff that I want to do. And in the beginning, I was thinking about it as, if I just help people understand themselves, which is why I wrote my first book called I Understand Me, then that is what I'm all about. It's helping people, educating them about themselves and helping them understand themselves. But really and truly, the thing that came to light about 5 years ago is that really what I'm passionate about is helping you live your life on your terms. So when we start to look at what are our values, then we can start having an idea about these are the things that we naturally gravitate towards because it is part of our value system, and therefore we will develop those things over and above everything else without anybody having to tell us. So I would recommend, if you want to understand more what is your passion, start writing what do you value in life. So you could value your family. You could value safety and security. You could be valuing money. You could be valuing adventure and excitement. You could be valuing respect and honesty and trust. So start writing those things out, because you'll find by watching how you spend your free time, how you spend your money, so I'm not talking about the essentials. I'm talking about the extras. Where do you put your money? Where do you put your leisure time towards? What are the things that you love following on YouTube? What are the kind of videos? Because those things will give you clues as to what you value. So before I start with the next one, let's have a look and see who's here, and just to say good morning to everybody. And if I've skipped you, I'm so sorry. Right, Anita, good morning. Jason, I've said that. Emmanuel, good morning, Marika. Good morning, Elena. Good morning, Alison. Janet, Nicola. Hi, Liz Allen. I haven't seen you for a while. Hi, Roger. Haven't chatted to you for a long time, and we haven't danced for a long time. Hi, Sally. Hi, Suno. How's your course going? Hi, Anita. Hi, Natalia. Good morning, dear. Thank you. Kalimera, Kalimera. Right, so the third thing is about the big goals versus the small goals. So I see this so often with my clients, is that they will have a big goal, which could be something like writing an ebook, creating an audio. It could be about writing a proposal, writing a dissertation for a degree or a course that they're doing. A big goal could be creating a new course if you're running your own business. And I work so much, especially with women that have got micro businesses and they want to create the life that they want with their own business. So I see these big goals and then people get stuck on the overwhelm. So what is going on there? So when we have a huge big picture, it feels too big for us to actually, start today and let me write the ebook, because the ebook has different steps to it. Oh, my phone just fell. Sorry about that. Let me just put it back in again. Oh, sooner, almost at the end of your course. Yes, I'm looking forward to our session at the end of this week. So when something is so big, it makes us feel overwhelmed, especially if we're lacking some practical experience. So part of writing an ebook, if you break down the steps, so let's just take something like an ebook. If you break down the steps of an ebook, the one is you've got to design the brand, the look of it. So you need to decide what colors you want to use, what kind of fonts you want to use, and so on. Another part would be, what is the title? What is the subtitle? And what is the message around that? The next one is like, what actually, there's a list of questions that I help my clients go through so that they know how to structure the content and how to even break down the content if the content has got, say, 5 chapters to it or whatever it may be. Each chapter needs to have an intro, the body, the conclusion, the summary, if you like. So therefore people, get overwhelmed, like, oh, how do I do that? So when you start to break down the little goals and focus just on the one thing, so in other words, taking big goals and making them small, then it starts to become easier and more doable. Because then you can ask yourself the right questions. So what do I call right questions? You know that your unconscious mind is always compelled to answer every single question that you have. It's almost like your own Google directory, if you like. So you've had huge amount of experiences and learning and observations, and you've built systems, you've built programs, and it's all inside you. But asking the question, what you're really saying to the little librarian inside your head is, go and find me the information about X. Now, if that question is stupid, like, what is wrong with me? Your librarian is not going to go, I'm not so sure about that question. Do you want to reframe that? No, it's going to go, you want to know what is wrong with you? Hold on. And it's going to go through your whole database. In other words, your whole life, things that you have possibly forgotten or things that are very, very prominent. And it's going to say, oh, I'll tell you what's wrong with you. this and this and this. I've got all this evidence, and it's going to present it. Now, the unconscious mind has no judgment to it. It doesn't think this is good or this is bad. It just delivers. And therefore, it will deliver exactly what you're asking. So when you're asking intelligent questions, then it starts to become a more exciting game. So in other words, if you're saying, right, I want to design the brand of my ebook, the colors and the fonts, I don't know where to begin. What is one thing that I can do that can help me towards learning that? And you might get an idea of like, well, let me see what other people's ebooks look like, and let me figure out and find out which is the one that I just love the look of. And then copy it in your own way. And remember that copying isn't copying per se, because at the end of the day, you'll have your own picture, you'll have your own color, you'll have your own message. So even though you are being inspired by somebody else's, when you copy it, it's not like you're going to make it exactly the same. One of the things that I realized when I studied fashion design, I used to try and come up with new designs on a blank piece of paper, and I used to get so frustrated an hour later sketching, doodling, and having no idea how to do this. What's the next design? And then I went back to my college and I kind of asked people around, like, what is their process of coming up with designs? When we get given an assignment about, doing evening wear, what is their process of coming up with their own designs on evening wear? And what I found that I'd say 95% of my class, now why they knew this and I didn't, I don't know, is that they were going through magazines like the Vogue and other fashion magazines, and they were stopping at the pages that they liked, and they thought, oh, I love that collar. So then they would draw a collar, and then they would carry on and go, oh, I love that sleeve. I love the detail on the cuff. And then they would do that. And then eventually they would create something that was unique to them out of the inspiration that they saw. And I thought that was genius. And I thought, why am I trying to be on a blank page? I kind of felt like if I'm looking at other people's work, then I'm actually not being original. And then I realized that no one ever really is original. We gather information from everybody else, and then we put it in our own interpretation, and that's what makes it original. So again, with the things that you want to do, whether it's something personal in your home or something in your business, go and look at what other people have done and figure out that way, which is the easiest way and which is the thing that you love, the idea, the look, the feel of it, and then just copy that in your own way, okay? So again, let me have a look and see who's here and say good morning. Hi, Nico. Hi, John. Hi, Amy. Nice to see you here again. So my next tip would be daily tasks. Now, it's very difficult to do daily tasks when you're not clear about what you're passionate about, understanding the big picture, but then also the tiny little steps, like putting the little bridge steps. And the way that I do this is a typical coaching exercise, okay? Here's where I am, and here's my big picture. This is where I want to be. Now, what are the little footsteps in between that bring me to the big one? Even if you do one tiny little step towards the big goal, I promise you that you'll get into a flow and those big goals happen. So this is what I talk about, the daily tasks. So the daily tasks, yes, I've got to answer emails. Yes, I have to speak to so-and-so. Yes, I have to have a coaching session with my client. But for you to go one step closer to your dream, there need to be some daily tasks that are in alignment with the goal of living life on your terms. So if your daily task is about the ebook, then maybe today's daily task would be to research other ebooks. That is something that you uniquely can achieve. So in other words, your daily tasks are like micro goals. It's like tiny little things that happen in that one step. So it could be about deciding the title. Only you can do that. Nobody needs to help you. Nobody needs to assist you. You can obviously ask for peer reviews, but it's something that you need to do. And maybe another daily task would be to start thinking about what is the skeleton. In other words, what is the overall small picture of your ebook. So when you set yourself daily tasks, and these daily tasks are like micro goals, are things that only you can create. They won't take 3 days, because 3 days is not a small micro goal. It's something that you can do today, achieve today. And it's personal and it's positive. So it's not about today I want to stop eating biscuits. Today I want to start eating healthier. And what does that look like? So make them positive. So have a look at your daily tasks and ask yourself, is it personal? In other words, is it all up to me? Is it positive? Is it written in the sort of the now, in the not negative? In other words, it doesn't have stop or I don't want this. Think about what it is that you do want, the positive side of it, and make it that you can achieve it in this same day. And in that way, you will start to feel a sense of achievement. Now, here's a little tip. If you do these daily tasks first thing in the morning, then you can set up your day and do them first before you look at your social media and start answering and commenting, and before you look at your emails and think to yourself, okay, I need to get back to that, before you do any of those things. Because what happens is the unconscious mind can only cope with so much. So the minute we, for instance, go into our emails and I see that, oh, I need to address this email, or I need to send a reply, oh, I need to do this action. What we're actually doing is we're starting plate spinning. And I talked about this last week. So if you have too many plates spinning and then you say, right, let me get into my micro goals, there's so much going on in your head that it becomes very difficult to become clear, concise, and productive. So therefore, it will be harder to achieve your goal, and you won't be as productive as you could be. So when you do your micro goals first thing in the morning and you address your stuff, then at the end of the day, no matter how the rest of the day goes, you will have a sense of achievement. You will have a sense of, you know what, I was productive and I am a step closer to my big goal, and therefore that feels good. So, hi Yanni, good morning. And the last tip that I have for you today is ask yourself, who are you serving? Because when you understand who you're serving, whether you're working in a company and you've got certain clients, or maybe you've got what we call internal clients, which is the team, your boss, all of those people, as well as external clients, which is the clients of the company, or whether it's your own business and you've got your clients, when you ask yourself, who am I serving? Let it come from that place of passion. Let it come from that place of, I'm excited, I love what I do. And then ask yourself, what are the needs that my clients have that I can help and fulfill for them? So for me, my big thing is that I'm, creating people, being a transformational coach and helping people live life on their terms. A step down is I work predominantly, so not exclusively, but predominantly with women that start their own micro business. And when I go further down, it's about helping them understand their internal blocks, in other words, beliefs and obstacles and, their values, as well as the external flow that they want. Is about teaching them some basic techniques about their business, about their marketing, about their sales, about their social media, about their visibility, about their voice, helping them get that voice. So those are the, those are the steps. And therefore, when I have that and I'm clear about that, it's so easy for me to say, how do I want to serve today? Because I know who I am. I know what my message is. I know who my client is. And therefore, I know who I'm serving. And therefore, I know how to serve them. So I hope this has been, hi, Nicola, nice to see you. It's been a while. So I hope that was useful and helpful. And if you have any questions right now or anything that you would like me to address, feel free to do so. Alternatively, what is easier, and especially if you don't want to share something personal on the Facebook Live, which I totally get, the best way to connect with me is set up a strategy call with me so that we can explore what it is that is going on with you, what it is that you want to achieve, what it is that you want your life to look like if you are living life on your terms. Send me a message, let's set up a call, and let's see how I can support you. So it's Monday morning. I don't see any questions. I'm assuming that we are all good. I just want to see if I've missed anybody or give somebody the opportunity to respond here. It's so lovely to see you all. How how is life for you? And, with the micro goals, just like a last thought, in case somebody's busy writing something. When you have a plan about, okay, here's the big picture. So in this week, this is what I want to achieve. Then you can start to break down that goal. And then if you break down the weekly goal, you can get an idea of what your daily goal is going to look like. And therefore, you find that balance. And when we talk about balance, this is something that I heard on Oprah many, many years ago. And I say this to everybody because it's such a valuable statement. It's something I've never forgotten. You've got to put yourself on your to-do list. So don't let it all be about the passion that you're trying to achieve in order to have life on your terms. Because part of that is you. So what you don't want to create is burnout, exhaustion, to the point that even your own passion now feels dulled, and therefore you think, oh, I thought I loved this, but, if you don't have that balance for yourself, so in other words, if you don't nurture and look after yourself, nobody else is going to do that for you. Nobody's going to come and say, hey, I need to take you away from the computer. Hey, I need to take you away from the desk. And I'm going to take you to the gym. I'm going to take you to the beach. Nobody's going to do that for you. If you are not on your to-do list, you will not get done. And that can be okay for a day, a week, maybe even a month. But I can guarantee you, when you neglect yourself and you don't put yourself as part of that big picture of staying healthy, being the example for everybody else, you're going to get burnt out. How do you know if you're burnt out? Have you ever had a feeling and a thought that says, oh, I just wish I could go to Jamaica, to the Caribbean, somewhere else, or to Mauritius, or I just want to be on a beach. I want to sit on that beach. I want to look at that sea and do nothing. Have I had that feeling? I just want to go on holiday and do nothing. I just want to go on holiday and sit at the pool and just soak up the rays, eat good food, and just do nothing. If you have that kind of desire right now and saying, you know what, right now, if I was living life on my terms, I would do nothing. You are exhausted. Mentally, emotionally, physically. And another way of knowing that you're exhausted is that you are sleeping 8 hours a day and you wake up and you are exhausted. You sleep 10 hours and you're exhausted. That's telling you that your balance is off, your alignment is out, and you're not nurturing yourself. So it's really, really important to look after yourself, both physically, in other words, drink loads of water, eat healthy, nutritionally high, calorie low kind of foods, not empty calorie kind of stuff, and look after yourself mentally. So one of the things that I'm absolutely strict about in myself, in my everyday, is that I wake up in the morning early enough to be able to sit for at least an hour. That's my choice, okay? To sit an hour and just drink my coffee and just look outside and think. And you think, gosh, how long can you do that? I'll tell you what, I can do it quite easily for an hour. I might write some notes, I get some ideas, I capture them so that I don't lose them. And I just give myself that time. And then I might do that a little bit during the day. When I water my garden, thanks to COVID, I've got a beautiful vegetable garden with all that time that we had. So I'll go and water my vegetables, and I'll look at the progress, and I'll talk to my plants, and that's part of my downtime. Part of my downtime is spending time with my daughter, and especially right now, because I've got 3.5 months left, and then she goes to uni, and this cycle of my life with her is over. And therefore, I acknowledge that, I honor that, and I nurture it. So ask yourself, if I was living life on my terms, what does that look like? And then start thinking about your values. Start thinking about the big picture. Start thinking about the small picture. Think about what's going on the inside, what you need to create on the outside. Break those steps down. Because when you start doing that, you'll start to live life on your terms. You'll feel internal motivation, which needs nobody to kick you up the arse. And you'll be able to create that. So, John, of course, there's a replay because it's a Facebook Live, so you can go back at any time. And hi, Beiju, good morning. Good morning. I hope you're having a good start to your week. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Aurora. Lovely to see you all here. Hi, Alison. So I'm going to leave you with those food for thoughts. Figure out what your passion is, who you are, how you love to serve, what would be the ultimate way for you to live your life in your terms. And if you need some help figuring that out, if you need some support in creating that, book a strategy call, contact me on Facebook Messenger, and let's just have that conversation. I call it cyber coffee. We're going to have cyber coffee, which is you are where you are, I'm where I am, we have some coffee and we meet in cyberspace. So let's just do that and let's just connect. Wishing you a good week, and we'll see you soon.